I'm just trying
ต้อน
to
รับ
make
เข้า
it a
สู่
little louder.
ต้อนรับเข้าสู่สุทธิชัยไลฟ์คืนนี้ครับต่อสายตรงไปที่กรุงมะนิลาเพราะเมื่อวานนี้มีการเดินขบวนใหญ่ต่อต้านประธานาธิบดีดูเตอร์เต้เรื่องของการปราบผู้ต้องสงสัยค้าและเสพยาเสพติดใช้วิธีวิสามันตั้งแต่รับตำแหน่งมาปีเศษๆนี่ตายไป 7,000 คนแล้วครับฉะนั้นเมื่อวานการเดินขบวนเนี่ยเป็นเรื่องที่ค่อนข้างแปลกเพราะก่อนหน้านี้ก็ไม่มีใครกล้าเพราะว่าดูเตอร์เต้นี่ใช้วิธีการค่อนข้างเบ็ดเสร็จเด็ดขาดผมโทรไปที่มะนิลาเพราะว่านักข่าวของหนังสือพิมพ์ฟิลิปปินส์ Enquirer คุณนิโก้ดีซอนไปทำข่าวที่นั่นด้วยนะครับผมจะคุยเพื่อจะได้รู้บรรยากาศสีสันเบื้องหลังของการเดินขบวนใหญ่ครั้งนี้ Hi Nico
Yes, hi suthichai.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening from Manila, direct to Bangkok through suthichai Live. So this is a new way for reporters like you and me to be able to report worldwide. All right?
Yes.
Right, yeah.
It's a very efficient way.
Right. You were there covering the protest march yesterday.
I was in Quezon City at the University of the Philippines and later at the Commission on Human Rights building, where it is in this Quezon City protest march that former President Benigno Aquino, Vice President Leni Robredo, Mar Rojas, if you know Mar Rojas,
right. Of course, yeah.
And of course, the CHR chairman Chito Gascon, whom who really earned the ire of the president.
Right.
All of them are there, and most of the minority lawmakers, the opposition lawmakers, also attended this protest rally in Quezon City.
Right. Who was the main organizer of the march?
Well, the march in Quezon City, the main organizer is this new anti-administration group called Tindig Pilipinas.
Yeah.
That means Stand Up Philippines or Rise Philippines.
Yeah.
It's a coalition. They call it a coalition of coalitions because there are a number of groups, around 50 of them.
Yeah.
But they're led by organizations and people who have been really vocal against the president, like the group of Senator Antonio Trillanes, the Magdalo,
right.
The organizations to which former cabinet members of President Aquino belong to.
Right.
Like there's a women's group that they are active in. Groups like those. So they're very much identified as the opposition group right now.
Right. Was the fact that former President Aquino was there a significant gesture?
Oh, yes, it is.
Sure.
Certainly, because even if he's been quiet for the past year, there's been an occasional interview, occasional statements from him.
Right.
He is still viewed as one of those who could be a rallying point.
Oh, really?
Against President Duterte. He still, I think he still could command, a big following among the Filipinos.
เป็นการเดินขบวนครั้งใหญ่ที่สุดเกี่ยวกับเรื่องของการที่ประชาชนไม่พอใจวิธีการของประธานาธิบดีดูเตอร์เต้ในการจัดการฆ่าคนที่แม้กระทั่งเข้าข่ายสงสัยเฉยๆว่าเป็นวิสามัญฆาตกรรมที่ไม่ถูกต้องฉะนั้นเรื่องนี้สั่งสมมานานเพิ่งจะระเบิดมาและการที่รออดีตประธานาธิบดีอาคิโนมาปรากฏตัวนี่นักข่าวคุณนิโก้บอกว่ามีความหมายมากเพราะว่าตลอดปีที่ผ่านมาอาคิโนไม่พูดอะไรเท่าไหร่แต่ว่ามาปรากฏตัวเพื่อจะให้กำลังใจกับคนที่ต่อต้านดูเตอร์เต้เรื่องนี้แน่นอนกลายเป็นการเผชิญหน้าทางการเมืองอย่างมีนัยสำคัญทีเดียว How many people officially have been killed under this special extrajudicial killings in the name of war on drugs?
That's a very good question because that's what I have been asking as well.
Yeah.
Because the count has, the unofficial figure has stopped at 13,000.
Yeah.
roughly estimate 13,000 since, I suppose it's late August or July.
Right.
And there's been no update.
Yeah.
So because government had a way of actually trying to identify, not exactly identify, but to classify, these deaths. They would say 3,000 are killed in the drug war, in the shootout with law enforcers.
Right.
And all others are deaths under investigation.
Right.
So there's no official count really among, for those who have been killed. But if you ask non-government organizations who have been monitoring all these deaths, they would say it's really roughly around 13,000. Police, those who died in police encounters, and those who were killed by vigilante groups, and those who were just, bodies that have been found and unidentified.
Yeah. Right, yeah. But the figures I have seen from various reports go anywhere from 7,000 to 10,000.
Yeah.
That would be more or less the figure you go by.
Yes, that would be, yes. That would be a very conservative number.
There has been opposition, there has been criticism against this move, but the president doesn't seem to care up to now. Right?
Yes, because that's really his central policy. He does believe that the Philippines has turned into a narco state.
Yeah.
And he does get support from for this to think that drugs is really a huge problem in the Philippines, that it's the end all and be all of all our problems.
Right.
That it has to be eradicated.
The Catholic Church has... Sorry, go ahead.
I did see in passing, it's unfortunate that I wasn't able to read much about this result of the Pew Research in the U.S. I saw a research that said that, they released it yesterday.
Yeah.
Said that there's quite a number of Filipinos, according to their survey, that do support the drug war, but they haven't really read into the report. But the headline is just that, that the drug war is actually getting support still after a year and after all these deaths.
Yeah, but this does not seem to have affected Duterte's popularity among the middle class, among most people, right?
Yes.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, if you ask that, yes, it's very interesting. If you look at the numbers, he's still very high, but there's a dip in among the lower class. If you ask the BE segment, there's actually a dip in the popularity of the president because most of the victims really are the poorest of the poor, those who cannot really defend themselves.
Yeah, the poorest of the poor supported him to become president.
Right? Exactly.
Right.
Well, they did, but there's also a huge number of upper class, the rich. The rich segment who voted for him.
Good for business. He was also good for business, good for the poor. You see?
Yes, because of his peace and order program.
Yeah.
That's actually it. It wasn't really, during the campaign, if you remember, it wasn't really much about any economic program that he promised or anything to resolve the poverty issue. It's just that he just really focused on drugs and said that for as long as we clean up the country, eradicate all these drug syndicates and drug users, everything will follow from there. That's his basic premise.
Right. Yeah. ที่น่าสนใจมากคือดูเตอร์เต้เนี่ยถึงแม้จะมีวิสามันฆ่าคนตายเป็นหมื่นนี่นะครับก็ยังเป็นที่นิยมของประชาชนระดับกลางระดับล่างและรวมถึงเศรษฐีข้างบนเนี่ยก็ชอบดูเตอร์เต้นโยบายเศรษฐกิจส่งเสริมนักธุรกิจขณะเดียวกันดูเตอร์เต้ก็ให้ประชาชนข้างล่างเนี่ยเห็นตัวเองเป็นขวัญใจและที่ปราบผู้ค้ายาเสพติดเนี่ยดูเตอร์เต้บอกนี่เราต้องทำก่อนเลยเพราะว่าพวกนี้คือพวกทำลายประเทศชาติฉะนั้นถ้าจัดการกับพวกนี้ได้ทุกอย่างก็จะดีขึ้นไปเองจึงเป็นที่มาว่าที่ผ่านมาปีเศษเนี่ยดูเตอร์เต้สามารถประกาศวิสามันใครก็ได้โดยที่ประชาชนไม่ค่อยจะต่อต้านจนกระทั่งมาถึงเมื่อวานนี้เองที่มีการรวมตัว but what sparked yesterday's demonstration because so far in the beginning there was okay maybe some criticism but there was no real demonstration on the street yesterday was the first biggest protest against the war on drugs correct
yes
what sparked
really, because what sparked it it was also the recent deaths of the teenagers Kian de los Santos in Caloocan City and also Carl Angelo Arnaiz it also happened in Caloocan and this very young boy Reynaldo de los Santos, I think. I'm sorry, I can't remember his last name.
Well, I have his name here.
Little boy.
Kian Loy de los Santos. I've got his name here, right? The teenager, 17-year-old, he was killed by police. Yeah, and the funeral for him. The funeral for him was where the march began, correct?
Yes. Yes, this is one of the biggest marches actually. And then it coincided with the 45th anniversary of martial law. So it's just like everything just came together for yesterday. People are already protesting the drug war. People are now seeing how much the Marcoses are being rehabilitated or, again, being accepted anew because of President Duterte. And it's an amalgamation of all these issues that really got these thousands of people together yesterday. There were around 20,000 in Luneta. And my estimate in Quezon City that from the mass at the University of the Philippines to the Commission on Human Rights, they're around 1,500. That's a big crowd. I mean, considering that this is a very popular president.
Sure, a very popular president. And these people are coming out against him in a very open way for the first time. How would Duterte take this? How would Duterte take this, you think?
Well, surprisingly, until now, I haven't heard from him. We haven't really gotten any strong reaction from him. But all his social media army were really working overtime. On social media, you could see all the attacks and all the comments about it. Media are under attack too. The media, reporters like you are under attack too. Do you feel threatened these days? Do I what? Sorry?
Do you feel threatened by the... Threatened? You feel insecure?
Well, me?
Yeah?
Well, me personally, I haven't been threatened directly.
Right.
They just comment on, the stories that I write or the social media posts that I have.
Right.
But not unlike other journalists where they're really, more direct threats. But, you actually feel the chilling effect of that because whenever you write something or you cover something, you would actually consider your personal safety already. For example, you get a tip about a story about let's just say about the president, you would actually think if it's safe to do this.
Do you get...
And what are the precautions that you have to take?
Do you...
it's quite new.
I know. As a reporter, do you get strange telephone calls, or do the editors get telephone calls from people in the government saying, "Why did you write that? Why did you publish that story? The president is not very happy." Do you get phone calls like that?
Phone calls,
not openly.
It's not in an official way, I would say. I wouldn't discount that something like that already happened. Since it's we all know each other.
Yeah, of course,
a lot of the president's appointees,
no reporters.
One way or another,
of course.
know the reporters, even on a personal basis, so very. It could have happened, but I wouldn't discount that.
Yeah, but there are strong editorials against the president from the local press. Yeah, quite strong.
There have been really very frank and very brutally honest,
brutally honest
editorials. Pointing out, that a lot of the things that are happening here are wrong.
Right.
It's just the basic, just the basic respect for life and human rights. You have heard the president say, express really disgust.
Very much.
I must say, disgust over human rights.
Yeah. He doesn't believe in all this human rights business or good governance or anything. He says he has his own way.
Yeah, if anything, he's actually the first government leader I've heard in years.
Yeah.
It's actually, who has no pretensions at all.
No pretension.
About.
All right. One thing you cannot accuse him. One thing you cannot accuse him of is pretension or pretending to be not himself. Right?
Yeah.
ผมกำลังคุยสดนะครับกับนักข่าวฟิลิปปินส์หนังสือพิมพ์ฟิลิปปินส์เอ็นควอเรอร์ที่มะนิลาเมื่อวานนี้เดินขบวนใหญ่เป็นข่าวใหญ่นะครับเพราะว่าเป็นครั้งแรกที่มีการรวมตัวอดีตประธานาธิบดีอาคิโนก็มาผู้นำศาสนาแคทอลิกก็มานักการเมืองฝ่ายค้านก็มาประชาชนก็มาเพื่อจะประท้วงวิธีการวิสามัญฆาตกรรมภายใต้นโยบายปราบปรามยาเสพติดตายไปแล้วเป็นหมื่นนะครับก็ไม่มีใครรู้ว่าตกลงที่ถูกยิงไปเนี่ยมีความผิดจริงหรือเปล่ามีการสอบสวนอะไรหรือเปล่าแต่ดูเตอร์เต้บอกไม่สนใจผมสั่งให้จัดการถ้าเข้าข่ายต้องสงสัย He declared yesterday President Duterte that his son who is charged with trading in narcotics from China probably he said he told the police to kill his son if his son is involved in drug trafficking. Is that true? He said that?
Yeah, he said, he says a lot of things. Yes, he said that.
He said that. You think we were serious? No, you don't know.
Well,
you never know.
I don't know. You never know. This is another unique thing about this president. He would say one thing today.
Yeah.
And another, hours later, not just the next day, hours later, he could actually change his mind.
But has his son been charged with trafficking?
Nothing, not at all.
No.
He just appeared at the Senate investigation, the Senate hearing, and there's still, the hearings are ongoing, and nothing really. We haven't heard any. There isn't really any conclusion to that yet. But of course, they have denied. They have denied all the allegations made against, the president's son and son-in-law.
All right. Wow, Duterte has been.
You were asked.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, you were asking me about the Malacanang's reaction to yesterday's protest.
Right.
I just made a quick check. Nothing really straight from the president yet, but his spokesperson has said that all these protests are proof that people can still say what they want to say. There's freedom of expression in the Philippines. There's no curtailment of any of these freedoms. That's what Secretary Andanar had said. today.
Yeah.
But nothing from the president. He was in Marawi City.
Yeah, Marawi.
Yesterday again, he made like his fourth or fifth trip to the war zone area.
So the official spokesman of Malacanang says, well, this shows that the Philippines is free. People can demonstrate. People can say what they want, which of course is a positive sign. Does that mean that the demonstration will continue? There'll be new demonstrations, you think?
You know, that's my question to the organizers as well.
Yeah.
You know, how do you plan to sustain this?
Yeah.
Do you plan to hold more activities? And they said that they'll as it comes along. Like I think tomorrow is it?
Yeah.
There will be another. It's not a mass action, but it's more of just getting together to start. I think it's to join the 40 days of prayer. You know, in a largely Catholic. You know, we are a Catholic country, and we observe the 40 days of someone who died. You know, 40 days of prayer and mourning. So the Catholic Church actually asked the people to join a 40-day prayer and mourning for all those who were killed in the drug war, and it starts tomorrow. And then this group, Tindig Pilipinas, had an announcement today that they will be joining this prayer gathering for the drug victims. It's just about it, but you know, I don't think there will be any march or protest as big as yesterday anytime soon.
But that means also that they can galvanize people, and they could, from now on, coordinate efforts to show their dissatisfaction with the government more effectively.
Oh yeah. I've been hearing, stories that I've spoken to some people who actually said, yes, there are small group discussions that are going on among ordinary citizens.
Yeah.
They just talk about what is happening. You know, they just want, for those who have questions, they can invite resource speakers. In very small group discussions. It doesn't have to be in a large auditorium, but sometimes, yes, they do gather in auditoriums. And just, they just want to understand what is happening about the drug war, about the extrajudicial killing. And even in the South China Sea, the problem with China. Yeah. There are discussions going on, and some of the organizers are saying, just keep at it. Just just to make people aware and understand. I think that's one of their objectives, really. That they have to sustain that.
Sure. The momentum has been built, so I think they will try to keep the momentum.
Yeah, but I always say it's a slow burn. It's a slow burn, and if you ask these groups as well, you ask them, what's your end game? What's your objective?
What's the end game, right?
Yeah, what's the end game, right? So they would just say, right now we just want a stop to all these killing. That's what at most they would say, but no one will actually dare say that we want President Duterte to step down. No one has ever said that.
Well,
because of a lot of reasons.
That might be their strategy.
A lot of reasons.
That might be their strategy. They don't want to tell the government in advance of what they want to do, right?
Yes, that's right. You're right. And he is very popular.
Yeah, I know. He's so popular that it's not easy to shake his foundation. ผมถามว่าอันเนี้ยดูเตเต้เพิ่งพูดไปนะว่าลูกชายผมเนี่ยที่มีคนมองกล่าวหาว่าค้ายาเสพติดเนี่ยผมสั่งตำรวจเลยว่ายิงทิ้งเลยไม่ต้องเกรงใจผมก็ถามนักข่าวฟิลิปปินส์คนนี้ครับว่าแล้วตกลงมันจริงไหมบอกว่าก็พูดอะไรก็ได้อะแต่เรื่องจริงนั้นเป็นอีกอย่างหนึ่งเพราะว่าทุกวันก็จะพูดเรื่องต่างๆที่สร้างพาดหัวข่าวได้อย่างฮือฮาก็ทำให้คนสงสัยว่าตกลงที่บอกว่าลูกผมนะถ้าจับได้ว่าค้ายาเสพติดอย่าปล่อยเอาไว้วิสามันไปเลย ก็โอ้โหฮือฮากันพอสมควรแต่ว่านักข่าวนิโก้แห่งหนังสือพิมพ์ฟิลิปปินส์ Enquirer เนี่ยก็บอกว่าก็ฟังเอาไว้แต่ว่าจริงแค่ไหนเนี่ยไม่มีใครรู้หรอกนะครับ The situation in the south Marawi has it recovered has it become normal again
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. The fighting still continues. But it's not as bad as it was probably in May, June, or July. Fighting has tapered down, but they still haven't gotten Isbilon Hapilon and one of the Maute brothers who is alive still, because the military chief of staff, General Eduardo Año, announced last Monday that I think there are like 5 Maute brothers, from the terrorist cell, whom they have confirmed dead from the fighting. So. But there's still sporadic fighting, and we're still losing, men in the field. And most importantly, the evacuees haven't gone back.
No,
it's still not safe to return to their homes.
Well, those who fled have not gone back home yet. Wow.
No, they haven't been allowed to return yet because fighting is still ongoing.
Wow, this is already a few months already. The fighting.
It's June, July, August. It's almost 5 months.
Almost 5 months, yeah.
4 or 5 months, yes. It's the longest that we've had in recent memory.
So the economy is still good. The Philippines, the economy, the general economy is still good. Yeah, that's why.
Yes. Once in a while you will hear a business group expressing concern about the president's statements.
Yeah.
But generally the economy is holding up.
That's why Duterte continues to be popular. Right?
Yeah. I believe so. Yes. Because as long as people could still eat 3 times a day and they can still afford to buy things, there really won't be any disruption. But there are still a large segment in the country is still very, very poor.
And
and we haven't really seen anything concrete from. They just continue the policies of the anti-poverty programs of the previous administration. Which have been quite effective. But there's still a long way to go.
What is
the president hasn't really said anything about anti-poverty programs.
No, but he campaigned on that policy, helping the poor.
Helping the poor by eradicating drugs.
Oh, really? That was quite simple.
That's really the premise.
Wow.
They always go back to that. They always go back to the drug problem.
Helping the poor by eradicating drugs. Wow. บอกว่าเศรษฐกิจของฟิลิปปินส์ก็ยังดีอยู่แต่ว่าคำมั่นสัญญาของดูเตเต้ตอนหาเสียงที่จะช่วยคนจนเนี่ยยังไม่เห็นอะไรเป็นรูปธรรมและก็แน่นอนตอนนี้หาเสียงก็จะบอกว่าจะแก้ปัญหายากจนด้วยการปราบปรามยาเสพติดให้ได้ซึ่งจะเกี่ยวกันโดยตรงหรือไม่ก็ไม่ทราบแต่ว่าณวันนี้เป็นเช่นนี้จริงๆ A lot of people liken Duterte to Donald Trump, right? But does he like America now? I don't think he is fond of America for now. No.
Well, he is not. He is not. I think the similarity really is in probably the language and the unorthodox style of governance. It's mostly that, because it's very new to us.
Right.
How they address people. They're very populist. Both of them.
So
the only difference is, President Trump doesn't have this bloody drug war
that would be a bit
in
difficult.
his administration.
Yeah, that would be a bit difficult in the United States. But he's now closer to China than the United States.
Well, he is very close. I mean, he's been there, twice already in less than 2 years of being president.
Right.
He heaps praises.
Yeah.
He's best friends with China.
Wow, and the Chinese love him.
It's very obvious.
Yeah, the Chinese love him too,
yes.
so why not?
Yes. It's a totally different time now compared to the time of former President Aquino when the relations were really tense.
Right, yeah. So now...
And most of the
Yeah, so now people in the Philippines feel more secure than before or not?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Philippine people, do they feel more secure than before in their daily life?
Good question. A few months ago, or probably late last year until early this year, you will hear people actually say, yes, we feel more secure because for example, in our community where there are drug addicts, they've actually, stepped back in terms of their trade, so they could walk around, without thinking that there's a drug addict at the corner, but at the street corner. But now, people are being more vocal about, their fears.
Sure.
They are going to their parish priests, they're going to their bishops, reporting all these incidents of killings in their places. I think really that it's the deaths of these teenagers that jarred a lot of people's senses. We've had even younger victims, caught in the crossfire. The children caught in the crossfire last year for some reason didn't really make an impact.
Yeah.
I don't understand why, but with Kian and Carl, it made so much impact, I think, because they were already suspects. They were made suspects in the drug war, and they're to be called a drug peddler or a drug courier,
right? Yeah,
and then brutally killed like that. They're 17, they're 20 years old.
Yeah,
for some reason, that was what really hit hard.
ปัญหาตอนนี้เนี่ยก็คือว่าวัยรุ่นโดนเก็บฮะตำรวจเนี่ยก็เข้าไปเวลาไปค้นบ้านหรือว่าเวลาไปลาดตระเวนเนี่ยเจอเยาวชนก็สงสัยไว้ก่อนกรณีที่ทำให้เกินเดินขบวนเมื่อวานนี้ก็คือเด็กอายุ17ถูกตำรวจลากเข้าไปในซอยที่มะนิลาเนี่ยทุบตีแล้วก็ยิงทิ้งพ่อแม่เขาคนที่รู้จักทั้งหลายแหล่ก็ร้องเรียนโวยวายแล้วในงานศพนี่แหละครับเมื่อวานนี้แหละครับที่ทำให้คนรวมตัวกันแล้วก็เริ่มเดินขบวนจากงานศพนี้ไปกลายเป็นการเดินขบวนต่อต้านดูเตอร์เต้ที่ใหญ่ที่สุดตั้งแต่ดูเตอร์เต้ขึ้นมาทีเดียวครับ Okay, so Nicole, thank you very much for your reporting and your your stories, which I think are quite useful for Thai people watching the Philippines from not too far. We are ASEAN members. And, and I hope that as a reporter, you will continue to do a good job in reporting the facts for the public.
Yes. And thank you very much for having me. We had, Thailand and the Philippines have similar stories, I guess, when it comes to the drug war.
Right.
In particular also. So it's very interesting. It's a very interesting engagement.
Very,
Thank you for I enjoyed this talk.
Thank you very much. I hope to ask you back when we have some interesting breaking stories, some interesting developments in the Philippines.
Yes. Yes, certainly.
Yeah,
we'll keep in touch.
Yeah, please thank editors of the Philippine Inquirer. We are friends. We are all in Asian News Network together.
ANN.
Yes, ANN together. So if you have anything you need from Thailand, just call.
Yes, definitely. We will.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye. นี่ก็เป็นนักข่าวฟิลิปปินส์ที่ไปทำข่าวเมื่อวานนี้การเดินขบวนครั้งใหญ่ในฟิลิปปินส์ต่อต้านดูเตอร์เต้ซึ่งน่าสนใจเพราะว่าตั้งแต่ดูเตอร์เต้ขึ้นมามีอำนาจปีเศษเนี่ยยังไม่เคยมีการเดินขบวนขนาดนี้แล้วเมื่อวานเนี่ยมีอดีตประธานาธิบดีอาคิโนไปร่วมด้วยแล้วก็มีผู้นำมีนักการเมืองผู้นำสังคมสังคมหลายคนรวมทั้งผู้นำศาสนาแคทอลิกแน่นอนที่ออกมาประท้วงว่าการรณรงค์ปราบยาเสพติดโดยการเก็บคนใช้วิสามัญฆาตกรรมอย่างไม่มีมาตรฐานของการพิจารณาแยกแยะคนน่าสงสัยหรือคนจริงคนไม่จริงเนี่ยตายไปแล้วเป็นหมื่นนะครับดูเตอร์เต้ก็อ้างว่าฉันไม่สนน่ะทางเดียวที่จะจัดการกับคนเหล่านี้ได้ก็ต้องสงสัยปั๊บรวบตัวปั๊บให้อำนาจตำรวจทหารที่จะจัดการเลยนี่เป็นที่มาของการเดินขบวนเมื่อวานนี้เพราะว่าช่วงหลังนี่มีเด็กๆที่ไม่รู้อิโหนอิเหน่เนี่ยโดนเข้าไปด้วยแล้วก็ตายกันหน้าตาเฉยซ้อมต่อหน้าต่อตายิงทิ้งกันตรงปากซอยในถนนใหญ่ของมะนิลาเลยครับนี่คือสถานการณ์ที่นักข่าวฟิลิปปินส์เองมาร่วมวิเคราะห์ในสุทธิชัยไลฟ์นะครับหนังสือพิมพ์ฟิลิปปินส์ Inquirer เนี่ยที่นักข่าวนิโก้คนนี้ทำงานอยู่ด้วยก็เป็นส่วนหนึ่งของ Asian News Network ซึ่ง Nation และหนังสือพิมพ์ชั้นนำภาษาอังกฤษในเอเชียทั้งหมด20ฉบับเป็นสมาชิกตั้งมา17ปีแล้วครับ Nation นี่เป็นหนึ่งในผู้ร่วมก่อตั้งที่รวบรวมเอาหนังสือพิมพ์อันดับต้นๆของประเทศทั้งหลายในเอเชียเนี่ยมาเป็นสมาชิกและแลกเปลี่ยนข่าวสารกันทำให้เรามีเครือข่ายข่าวเนี่ยทั่วเอเชียเลยนะครับไม่ว่าจะเป็นจีนอินเดียญี่ปุ่นเกาหลีใต้ฟิลิปปินส์มาเลเซียสิงคโปร์เนปาลปูตานผมมีเพื่อนที่เป็นคนทำข่าวในเอเชียเนี่ยผ่าน ANN นี่จำนวนมหาศาลแล้วก็เป็นประโยชน์สำหรับที่พวกเราจะร่วมกันเกิดเรื่องฟิลิปปินส์ต่อสายไปให้ไปเช็คข้อมูลมาและก็มารายงานให้เราฟังฉะนั้นสุทธิชัยไลฟ์ที่ท่านติดตามอยู่นี้ก็ได้ประโยชน์แต่ว่าท่านมีสำนักข่าวอยู่ทั่วเอเชียที่สามารถจะรายงานวิเคราะห์เบื้องหลังอย่างนักข่าวฟิลิปปินส์ก็จะเล่าให้ฟังได้เลยว่าดูเตอร์เต้เป็นคนอย่างไรนิสัยอุปนิสัยเป็นอย่างไรมีเบื้องหลังอย่างไรเรื่องนี้มีที่มาที่ไปอย่างไรทำไมดูเตอร์เต้ยังเป็นที่นิยมของชนชั้นกลางของนักธุรกิจเศรษฐกิจก็ดีนักข่าวก็วิเคราะห์ตามข้อมูลข้อเท็จจริงฉะนั้นเราก็จะได้เห็นมุมมองจากคนฟิลิปปินส์นักข่าวฟิลิปปินส์รายงานเกี่ยวกับเรื่องฟิลิปปินส์เองก็จะต่างไปจากที่เราเห็นจาก CNN จาก AP Reuters ซึ่งก็จะมีอีกมุมมองหนึ่งแบบฝรั่งเรามีนักข่าวท้องที่บอกกับเราถึงเรื่องที่เขาฟังภาษาฟิลิปปินส์รู้เรื่องเขารู้ว่าดูเตอร์เต้เนี่ยพูดแต่ละคำเนี่ยความหมายเป็นอย่างไรผมจึงคิดว่าเป็นประโยชน์อย่างยิ่งนะครับอีกสักครู่นะครับเราไปภาคใต้วันนี้มีเรื่องใหญ่ที่ปัตตานีอีกแล้วครับเป็นเรื่องที่น่าเศร้าเมื่อสักครู่ถามถึงเรื่องมาราวีของฟิลิปปินส์ทางใต้5 เดือนแล้วนะครับยังรบกันอยู่ยิงกันอยู่และคนที่หนีออกมาหลายพันคนเนี่ยก็ยังไม่สามารถกลับไปใช้ชีวิตปกติได้เดี๋ยวนักข่าวของเราทางภาคใต้จะเข้ามารายงานให้ฟังว่าเหตุเกิดเช้านี้ที่สายบุรีมันเป็นยังไงกันแน่ครับสักครู่นะครับอีก10-15 นาทีเท่านั้นครับสวัสดีครับ